Today I'm going to show you a mind-blowing SQL code that you will remember forever. Have you ever thought you could generate a bank statement, something similar to this, using just SQL queries? So look at this. In the bank statement, you have a date, a description column, and the next three columns are very interesting. This column shows all the debit transactions, and this column shows all the credit transactions, and the last one is very interesting. It's showing the running balance. Can see that? So 10,000 is your opening balance, and the salary credit is 50,000. So 10,000 plus 50 is 60,000. Then you did a ATM withdrawal 5,000. So 60 minus 5 is 55. So let's see how to generate this kind of report that shows debit transaction, credit transaction, and also the running balance along with that. So I open a SQL developer. Okay, I'm going to create a transaction table. So let's create a transactions table first. Okay, so let's create a transaction table and see that. So these are the columns in the transaction table, the table structure. So it has a transaction ID of a number type, transaction date of a date type, transaction description of a character type. So you can include a transaction description such as a salary, washing machine purchase, shirt purchase, house rent, water purifier, whatever. And the transaction type is going to be either debit or credit, and the transaction amount. So let's create the table first. Yeah, table created successfully. So describe a transactions table. Okay, fabulous. So the transaction table is successfully created. So next let us insert some sample data into this. So these are some of the sample data. So insert into transactions, okay, date and the description, whether it is credit or debit, and the amount. Okay, so let me just run this. Okay, inserted successfully. Okay, then let's write a SQL query for testing. So query for testing. So select star from the table transactions. Good. So far so good. The table is created and also the data is inserted. Okay, good. So next what we are going to do is let's go back and see that. So we are going to create a report something similar to this. Okay, so let's go and write a SQL query now. Okay, all right, so let's go and write the query. Right, so first we need a transaction ID and the date, description, transaction type, and amount. So let me write a query. So select okay, so select the columns like a transaction ID and transaction underscore date and a transaction description and transaction date and amount. So these are like a direct columns, so you don't need to worry about it. Okay, so these are like a direct columns. Okay, now we are going to write some computed columns, right? And also we are going to produce a running balance like this. Okay, let's see how to do that. So for that, I'm going to use a aggregated function called sum. Okay, right? And I'm going to use a over. Let me explain what is this later. Okay, just have these clauses like this, sum and over. Okay, so inside, so I'm going to decide what is the transaction type. So if the transaction type is a credit transaction, then I'm going to return the amount as a positive number. If the transaction type is a debit transaction, okay, then I'm going to return the number as a negative number. So meaning that all the credits are going to be added and all the debits are going to be subtracted. So that's the core idea. Okay, so first let me select the required columns. So select a transaction ID, transaction date, and a transaction description. So these are like a straightforward columns, okay, right? And then comma, and now if the transaction type is a credit, I'm going to return the number as a positive number. If the transaction type is a debit, then I'm going to return as a negative number. Okay, for that I can use a case clause. Okay, and see that. So sum of and case, we can use a when clause when the transaction type is credit, then return amount. See that I'm returning the positive number for credit type. Okay. Similarly, when the transaction type equal to debit, then return minus amount, and see that I am returning negative number for debit type. Okay, right? So this is and also I have to use this over. Okay, right? So over order by transaction date. If the customers make more than one transaction on a particular date, then I also order by transaction ID. Okay, right? And let me retrieve this as a running balance. Okay, and finally, don't forget from the table transactions and order by transaction date and transaction right ID. Okay, so I forgot to put a end here. Okay, every case must end with the end. Okay, so fabulous. See that again. So let's verify this SQL. So selecting these columns directly. So I'm just going to retrieve this. Okay, the whole thing as a running balance. Okay, if the type is credit, I'm going to return as a positive. Okay, now let us go and run this. Okay, fabulous. See that? So salary is 1000, it's a credited. Washing machine purchase is a debit. So 1000 minus 200 is 800. Again, house rent is the income, is a credit type. So 800 plus 500 is 1300. Again, electricity bill is a debit. So 1300 minus 500 is 800. Shirt purchase again debit. So 800 minus 100 is 700. Okay, so this is like one method, but we wanted to create something similar to this. Okay, I want a date, description. I don't want a transaction ID. So I want a date, description, then debit and credit and running balance. Okay, so for this, how you can modify this code. So let's go and modify this code. So I don't want a transaction ID. So let me remove the transaction ID first. See that I want a date and then description. Okay, right? And then I remove other things. Okay, I need a date, description, then third and fourth column. Third, fourth and fifth columns we have to derive. Okay, so how to do that? So select transaction date, transaction description. Okay, so basically I need two columns, extra columns like a debit and credit. Okay, so I just use the same case here. Okay, let's take case when transaction type equal to debit. Okay, then let me convert the number into a character, the amount into a character type. Okay, right? Else return nothing. Okay, on the particular date, Okay, if there is no debit transaction, so instead of returning null, I just return empty space. Okay, this is for debit. So let me give the title as a column title, column heading as a debit. So end as debit, so in rupees, comma. Okay, now let me just copy this. Now I want the credit column. Okay, so case, the transaction type is credit. Okay, then return that amount, and this is credit. Okay, fine. So we retrieved the date, description, debit and credit, and the running balance. I think it can remain as it is. And see that the running balance remain as it is. Okay, now if I just run this, so it is going to return me an additional 2 columns. Okay, so good. Now let's see what is a problem. Okay, so why it is showing the error? Oh, I forgot to put a comma here. Okay, now fantastic. Let me run this. Wow, wonderful. See that? So we have a transaction date, transaction description, and the debit. So on this particular date, there is no debit, only credit. Okay, how much? 1000. Good. On this particular date, and see that. So washing machine purchase, that's a debit amount, and see that debit, no credit on that particular day. So that's why I have given else condition like this. Okay, if on that particular date, if there is no credit, okay, then I just return empty. Okay, right? And then so this is a running total. So this is calculated by this code segment. Okay, so 1000 minus 200 is 800. 800 plus 500 is 1300. 1300 minus 500 is 800. 800 minus 100 is 700. So fabulous. So again, let us go back and see that. So date, description, debit, credit, and running balance. Okay, is that transaction date, description, debit, credit, and running balance. If you want to display the column name as just as date, okay, then we can say as date. Okay, for transaction description, I just want as description. So as description. So let's see that whether this works, matches our requirement. Okay, extraordinary. See that. So date, description, no debit on the this on this day, and credit and the running balance. Okay, good. So basically, this query calculates the running account, okay, running balance by adding credits and subtracting the debits, and also maintaining a cumulative total after every transaction. I simply put credit what money comes in, debit what money goes out. Okay, and this particular portion, okay, this particular portion, okay, is the main portion because if it is credit, returns the amount as a positive number. If it is debit, returns as a negative number. Okay, so that this will be aggregated, added cumulatively. Okay, so it is basically an analytic function. Okay, sum and over. So this portion is an analytic function. Database processes rows in this order and computes the running sum. So the beauty is that you don't write a loop. Okay, the analytic functions like a sum and over performs the cumulative calculation automatically. So this is one of the most common real world uses of Oracle analytic functions in banking, accounting, ERP and financial systems. Okay, so I hope you understood this. So thank you for watching this, and we'll meet in the next video. Thank you so much.